He gave her everything. Not just his time, but his trust, his presence, his loyalty. He stood by her when no one else would. He believed in her when even she doubted herself. And in return, she walked away. No warning. No explanation. And yeah, he found out the hard way from a mutual friend, from her social media, from the silence that said everything. Now most men, they would have snapped. They'd have begged, texted, called, tried to fix what was already broken. But he didn't. He said nothing. Not because he wasn't hurt, but because he refused to give her the satisfaction of watching him bleed. That's the difference. That's Stoicism. And if you've ever been betrayed, ever had someone walk out like you meant nothing, then this one for you. Let's talk about how a Stoic man handled betrayal, without saying a single word. Most men don't handle betrayal, they react to it. They beg for clarity. They scroll through old messages. They sit in the parking lot outside her place hoping for one more chance. Some drown in whiskey, others drown in women. But the result is the same, they spiral. Because society told them that silence is weakness. That if you don't fight for love, you didn't love enough. But a Stoic man, he doesn't fight for what betrayed him. He doesn't campaign to be kept. He understands his truth. If someone walks away after receiving your loyalty, chasing them is not proof of love. It's proof you've forgotten your worth. So he doesn't chase. He doesn't post cryptic messages. He doesn't turn pain into theater. He walks, not because he feels nothing, but because he's learned to carry pain with dignity. And that's the difference. Most men want closure. A Stoic man creates it, with action, with silence, with self-respect. He doesn't fight to be heard. He doesn't seek justice through words. He lets time do the talking, because time has a way of revealing what emotions try to hide. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If someone does wrong, the harm is theirs, not yours." It's simple, but most men miss it. They get betrayed and immediately start questioning themselves. What did I do wrong? Was I not enough? Did I push her away? But a Stoic man knows you are not responsible for someone else's lack of character. Betrayal is not a reflection of you. It's a reflection of them. You offered loyalty. They answered with lies. That's not your shame to carry. Epictetus said, "We suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgment about them." A weak man internalizes betrayal. He takes it personal. He lets it redefine his value. But a Stoic man reframes it. He steps back and observes, not with anger, but with awareness. He doesn't see betrayal as destruction. He sees it as a filter. A painful gift that removes someone who never truly belonged. And that's a mindset difference. Most men ask, why would she do this to me? A Stoic man asks, what did this teach me about who I let in? Pain becomes perspective, and betrayal becomes clarity. Most men believe silence is weakness, that if you don't respond, if you don't defend yourself, you've lost. But a Stoic man knows silence is not retreat. It's restraint. When she betrays you, she expects a reaction. She expects yelling, blaming, begging, because that gives her power. It shows she still controls your emotions. But when you say nothing, she doesn't know what you're thinking. She doesn't know if you're broken or just done, and that uncertainty is deafening. Silence is strategy. It protects your dignity. It stars her the drama she might secretly crave. In the mind of a woman who expected you to fall apart, your silence becomes unforgettable. She may never admit it, but she'll feel it. When the texts don't come, when your presence disappears, when her games echo into nothing, that's when your silence speaks louder than any speech ever could. Not out of bitterness, not as punishment, but as a message. I saw the truth. I adjusted. No explanation needed. A man who masters his mouth controls the outcome, because when you say nothing, they are forced to hear themselves. And most people can't handle that. Betrayal hurts. No question. But a Stoic man doesn't sit in the hurt. He moves through it, not with chaos, but with purpose. While most men are spiraling, he's sharpening. While others post breakup quotes, he's building habits. He turns betrayal into fuel. Not to get her back, but to get himself forward. He shows up to the gym, not for revenge, but for discipline. He studies, trains, invests, not for approval, but for direction. Because here's the truth. A man focused on his purpose becomes unrecognizable to the one who betrayed him. The silence she hears, that's him, building a life she'll never access again. Every mile he runs, every dollar he earns, every hour he spends alone improving, isn't about her. It's about becoming too powerful to be broken by someone who couldn't even stay loyal. He doesn't bounce back. He evolves. And when she finally looks back, he's not standing where she left him, that is already gone, far ahead, out of reach. Because he didn't scream, that he didn't beg, that he didn't collapse. He built, that he ascended, silently. And in that silence, he found peace deeper than any apology could bring. At first, she doesn't notice. She thinks you're quiet because you're waiting. She thinks you'll come back like most men do. She checks her phone. Nothing. She watches your story. You don't post. She reaches out. You don't answer. That's when it hits her. You're not silent because you're sad, you're silent because you've accepted it. And now the silence feels loud, uncomfortable, unfamiliar. Because for the first time, she can't predict you. No response, no fight, no closure. It forces her to sit with what she did. T.O. play the entire betrayal back in her own mind. And that reflection, it hurts more than any words you could have said. By the time she realizes what she lost, you're not the same man she left. You've evolved, you've grown, you've stepped into the version of yourself she was never meant to have. She might come back, but that version of you, he won't. Because the man she betrayed was emotional. The man you became is untouchable. That's the irony of betrayal. It opens the door, not for her return, but for your rise. I get it, you still love her. You weren't pretending. You showed up fully. You gave your heart without playing games. And now you're wondering, if I still love her, shouldn't I fight for her? No, because love isn't supposed to hurt like that. Love doesn't betray. Love doesn't make you question your worth. Stoicism doesn't ask you to stop feeling. It asks you to stop self-destructing in the name of feeling. You can love someone and still choose peace. You can miss her and still not go back to chaos. Real strength isn't in clinging, it's in letting go when everything in you wants to hold on. Because when you choose to love yourself more than the pain she caused, you don't lose her. You lose a version of you who tolerated betrayal. And that's not weakness, that's rebirth. You still love her. That's okay. But let your love exist in the rear view, not in your direction. You've got a life to build, a standard to protect, and a man to become. She was part of your story, but she doesn't get to be the ending. So what do you do after betrayal? You don't chase. You don't explain. You don't collapse. You become. You take the pain. You burn it clean, and you use the ashes to build something unshakable. You stop thinking about proving her wrong. You focus on proving yourself right. And when she finally realizes what she lost, you won't need to say a thing, because your transformation will be loud enough. Let her remember your silence. Let her feel the distance you never broke. Let her wonder what kind of man you became when she walked away. And never get the answer. Because you didn't send closure, you became it. If you've ever been betrayed, if you've ever carried the weight of silence and turned it into strength, drop a comment below. Let the world know you didn't fall apart, you leveled up. And if this message speaks to something in you, subscribe. Not just to this channel, but to the version of you who never begs again. Because that man, he doesn't chase justice, that he becomes too powerful to be wronged again.